Well, hello there, and a very warm welcome. Today we are checking out the top 10 greatest dribblers in football. We'll be looking at 10 legends who have graced the game, players whose ability to weave past opponents was, and in some cases still is, simply out of this world. From the feints and shimmies to the explosive bursts of pace, these individuals redefined what it meant to take on a defender. It's a list that's bound to spark debate, and rightly so, because talent like this is often subjective. But the sheer joy these players brought to the beautiful game is undeniable. So, settle in, get comfortable, because this is a journey through some of football's most iconic moments. Before we kick off though, just a quick word. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Right, boots laced? Let's get to it. Kicking off our list is Brazil's very own Neymar Jr. Now, when you talk about modern flair and that quintessential Brazilian magic, Neymar's name is invariably one of the first on the team sheet. With the ball at his feet, he's like an illusionist, pulling off tricks and flicks that most players wouldn't even dream of attempting, let alone in a high-stakes match. His repertoire of skills is simply dazzling. Step-overs, feints, rainbow flicks, you name it, he's got it in his locker. Defenders often find themselves bamboozled, unsure whether to commit or stand off, and either way, Neymar often finds a way through. He combines that incredible technical ability with a deceptive change of pace, making him a nightmare for anyone tasked with marking him. Despite some unfortunate injuries that have perhaps punctuated his career more than he'd like, his impact when fit is undeniable. He carries that attacking spark, that ability to unlock a stubborn defense with a moment of individual brilliance. He draws fouls in dangerous areas, creates countless chances for his teammates, and of course, scores spectacular goals. He's the kind of player who reminds you why football is called the beautiful game, carrying the torch for that expressive, attacking Brazilian heritage. A true superstar, no question about it. Next up, we have a player who defined elegance and control in the heart of midfield: Zinedine Zidane. For Zizou, dribbling wasn't just about beating a man, it was an art form, a way to dictate the tempo of the game, to create space where none seemed to exist. His balance was extraordinary, and his first touch was often so sublime, it was a skill in itself. He had this incredible ability to shield the ball, using his physique and that delicate touch to maneuver out of the tightest situations. You'd see 2 or 3 players converge on him, and somehow, with a subtle shift of weight or a drag back, he'd emerge with the ball still at his feet, gliding forward. And of course, you can't talk about Zidane's dribbling without mentioning his signature move, the Zidane roulette or the Marseille turn. It was poetry in motion, a 360-degree spin on the ball that left defenders utterly perplexed, often trailing in his wake. He executed it with such grace and fluidity, even in the most pressured environments, like the World Cup final. But it wasn't just about that one iconic move. His close control, his pirouettes, his ability to use both feet with equal aplomb, all contributed to his mastery. He wasn't the quickest, but his footballing brain and technical security meant he didn't need to be. A true artist, whose control and vision made him one of the all-time greats. Now for a striker who redefined forward play with his terrifying pace, power, and of course, his incredible dribbling ability, the original Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima, or simply O Fenomeno. Before those devastating knee injuries, he was arguably the most complete center forward the world had ever seen. His dribbling was often at lightning speed, a blur of motion that left defenders utterly helpless. He could pick up the ball deep, and within seconds, he'd have accelerated past multiple opponents, bearing down on goal with that trademark ruthless intent. It was that combination of raw speed, astonishing close control at that speed, and brute strength that made him virtually unplayable in his prime. His signature stepovers were legendary, weren't they? Executed at pace, they were mesmerizing, and often left goalkeepers and defenders sprawling. He'd feint one way, then the other, and before you knew it, he was past you, and the ball was in the back of the net. It wasn't just about trickery for show. Every touch, every feint was designed to create a goal-scoring opportunity. He had that incredible knack of rounding the keeper, making it look so easy, yet it required such composure and technical skill. We journey back in time now to honor a true pioneer of the game, a man known as the Wizard of Dribble, Sir Stanley Matthews. He's the only player to have been knighted while still actively playing, which tells you everything about his stature and the impact he had. His career spanned an incredible number of decades, playing top-flight football into his 50s. And central to that longevity and enduring class was his unparalleled dribbling skill, particularly his mastery of the body feint. He wasn't about explosive pace in his later years, but his ability to deceive an opponent with the subtlest of movements was second to none. He'd shaped to go one way, drop a shoulder, and then, with the ball seemingly glued to his outside right foot, he'd be gone down the wing, leaving the fullback for dead. It was classic wing play, delivered with an almost balletic grace. Defenders knew what he was going to do. They'd seen it countless times, yet they were still powerless to stop him. It was that mastery of the basics, the perfect timing, and the sheer intelligence of his play that set him apart. He created so many goals from those trademark runs down the right flank, whipping in crosses with pinpoint accuracy. A true gentleman of the game and an absolute master of his craft, his legacy as one of football's greatest dribblers is firmly cemented. Now for a player who played football with a smile on his face and pure, unadulterated joy in his heart, Ronaldinho Gaucho. Watching him was an experience, wasn't it? He wasn't just a footballer, he was an entertainer, a magician who could conjure moments of brilliance that would take your breath away. His dribbling was a mesmerizing blend of audacious flicks, no-look passes, elasticos, and samba flair. You never quite knew what he was going to do next, and that unpredictability was a massive part of his genius. Defenders were often left looking utterly bewildered, sometimes even applauding his sheer audacity. He had this incredible ability to manipulate the ball, making it dance to his tune. The famous elastico or flip-flap, where he'd push the ball one way with the outside of his boot and then instantly bring it back with the inside, was a trademark, executed with such speed and precision. But it wasn't just about individual tricks. His dribbling invariably led to something productive, a defense-splitting pass, a shot on goal, or drawing a crucial foul. That infectious smile combined with his otherworldly talent made him a global icon and one of the most beloved dribblers ever to grace the pitch. Our next legend is a man who not only revolutionized football with his philosophy of total football, but was also an exquisite dribbler in his own right, the one and only Johan Cruyff. His intelligence on the pitch was legendary, and his dribbling was an extension of that footballing brain. It was incisive, purposeful, and always aimed at creating an advantage for his team. He possessed incredible balance and agility, allowing him to change direction in an instant, leaving defenders flat-footed. He wasn't just about beating his man, he used his dribbling skills to open up the entire game, to draw players out of position, and to orchestrate attacks from seemingly innocuous situations. And of course, we have to talk about the Cruyff turn. It's one of the most iconic and enduring skills in football history, a move so deceptive in its simplicity yet so brilliantly effective. It was pure genius, a moment of invention that bamboozled the Swedish defense in the '74 World Cup, and has been copied by players worldwide ever since. Cruyff's dribbling was elegant, intelligent, and utterly transformative, both for Ajax and Barcelona, and for the way the game itself was played. A true visionary. Now for a player who was as famous for his charisma off the pitch as he was for his genius on it, Manchester United's legendary number 7, George Best. The fifth Beatle, as he was affectionately known, was a winger who possessed an almost supernatural ability to dribble the ball. He had it all: blistering pace, incredible balance, 2 fantastic feet, and an audacity that bordered on the outrageous. He could take on entire defenses single-handedly, weaving his way through a sea of legs with the ball seemingly tied to his boots. Defenders found him an absolute nightmare to play against because he was so unpredictable and so incredibly brave on the ball. He had this unique style, often running directly at players, inviting the challenge, and then, with a subtle shimmy or a sudden burst of acceleration, he'd be past them. His close control, even when running at top speed, was simply breathtaking. He scored some of the most memorable individual goals in football history, goals that showcased his incredible dribbling prowess. While his career might have been shorter than many would have liked, his peak was so high and his dribbling skills so dazzling that he remains an undisputed legend of the game. We now arrive at a player who many believe isn't just one of the greatest dribblers, but possibly the greatest footballer of all time, Lionel Messi. What can you say about Messi that hasn't already been said? His dribbling is like watching a master craftsman at work. It's not necessarily about outlandish tricks or extravagant flicks, though he's capable of those too. Instead, it's about almost impossibly close control, a low center of gravity, and an uncanny ability to keep the ball tethered to his left foot no matter how many defenders surround him or how quickly he changes direction. It's almost as if the ball is an extension of his body. He has this incredible knack for slaloming through packed defenses, defenders lunging in only for Messi to make a minute adjustment, a tiny touch, and he's away. He's scored countless goals that have begun with him picking up the ball near the halfway line and just gliding past player after player. Truly a phenomenon. Next, we honor a player whose name is synonymous with footballing genius and some of the most iconic moments the sport has ever witnessed. Diego Armando Maradona, El Pibe de Oro, the Golden Boy. Maradona possessed a low center of gravity similar to Messi, but perhaps with a more raw, explosive power in his dribbles. He could absorb challenges that would fell most players and still emerge with the ball, driving his team forward with an almost primal force. His technical ability was simply breathtaking. The ball would obey his every command, whether he was pirouetting out of trouble in midfield or embarking on those mazy, mesmerizing runs towards goal. His performance in the 1986 World Cup is the stuff of legend, and his second goal against England in the quarter-final, often dubbed the goal of the century, is perhaps the ultimate testament to his dribbling prowess. Picking the ball up in his own half, he carved through the England team one by one before slotting it home. It was audacious, brilliant, and pure Maradona. He had that incredible combination of skill, strength, tenacity, and an unshakable belief in his own ability. He could carry an entire team on his shoulders, inspiring them to greatness through his individual brilliance. A flawed genius perhaps, but a genius nonetheless, and undoubtedly one of history's greatest dribblers. And finally, we arrive at number 1 on many people's lists when discussing the art of dribbling, a Brazilian folk hero whose talent was so unique, so mesmerizing, he was often described as simply unplayable. Manuel Francisco dos Santos, better known as Garrincha, the Little Bird. What made Garrincha so special was not just his incredible skill, but the context of his physical attributes. He famously had legs that were not the same length, with one bending inwards and the other outwards, yet he turned this into an unbelievable advantage. Defenders simply could not predict which way he was going to go because his body movements were so unorthodox. His game was built around feints and shimmies, primarily down the right wing. He would repeatedly shape to go one way, drawing the defender in, then with a sudden burst of acceleration, he'd dart the other way, leaving his marker completely stranded. It was said that opponents knew exactly what Garrincha was going to do, but they were utterly powerless to stop him. He brought such joy to the Brazilian people, particularly in the 1958 and 1962 World Cups, the latter of which he dominated after Pelé was injured. Yet his dribbling was devastatingly effective, creating countless chances and scoring spectacular goals. A true legend, perhaps the purest, most natural dribbler the game has ever seen. Well, there you have it. 10 absolute masters of the art of dribbling. Each player brought their own unique style, their own brand of magic to the pitch, leaving an indelible mark on the history of this beautiful game. These players didn't just beat defenders, they captivated audiences, they inspired generations, and they reminded us all of the sheer beauty and excitement that football can offer. It's the kind of skill that gets you off your seat, isn't it? That moment of individual brilliance that can change a game or even define a career. Of course, a list like this is always going to be subjective. There'll be names you think should be in there, and that's the great thing about football, the endless debate, the passion it inspires. The 10 we've looked at today were and are quite extraordinary. So, who was your favorite? Who do you think is the undisputed king of the dribble? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And once again, if you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content.